Good evening, sir. I'm Elimar Maglasang. This time, I have a report about the topic of your module. Um, uh, First, drug. Drug, a medicine or other substance which has a physiological effects when ingested or otherwise introduced into the body. Drug analysis. Drug analysis is the testing of a suspected controlled substance to determine its composition. Methods of examination. Methods of examination. There are two. Quantitative examination. Second, qualitative examination. 7 categories of drugs. First, herbal drugs. Second, over-the-counter drugs. Third, prescription drugs. Fourth, unrecognized. 5, illicit drugs. 6, tobacco. Number 7, alcohol. What is drugs? What is the medicinal drugs? Classification of drugs. First, what is medicine? Medicine is a substance or preparation used in treating disease. What is medicinal drugs? Medicinal drugs is a drugs used to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent disease. Classification of drugs. First, natural drugs. Natural drugs made from compounds found in nature. Example is coca leaves or cocaine, aspirin, or penicillin. Synthetic drugs. Synthetic drugs created using man-made chemicals. Example, methamphetamine. Three major types of CSN depressant. Three major sedative, hypotics, tranquilizer, common, SN depressant, withdrawal symptoms. What is inhalants? Inhalants are volatile substance that produce chemical vapors. Dangerous drugs. What is dangerous drugs? Dangerous drugs is any substances which may be from time to time subject to drug use. Considered dangerous drug. First, acetaminophen. Second, alcohol. Third, benzodiazepine. benzodiazepine, port, anticoagulants, fifth, antidepressant, six, antihypertensive, uh, seven, bromocriptine, bromocriptine, um, eight, uh, clari, clara, clarithromycin. Narcotic substances, stimulant, drug stimulant, drug that are preservable and invigorating to high collagens, drug that alter perception through and feelings, depressant, reduce arousal and stimulation, drug dependence. Drug dependence is a psychic and physical state of person charged by behavior and responses resulting composition. Characteristic of drug dependence. Characteristic of drug dependence, physical dependence, refers state of chronic dependence on a medication or drug resulting from prolonged abuse. Second, mental dependence refers to the condition responses triggered by events or feelings. Third, idiosyncrasy or side effects, a mode of behavior or way of true peculiar to an individual. What is drug addiction? Drug addiction is also called substance use disorder. How is drug addiction acquired? First, associational. First, associational. Second, experimental. Third, inexperienced physician. Drug habituation. Condition resulting from the repeated consumption of drug. How drug works. First, minimal dose. Minimal dose, smallest amount of drug that will produce. Second, maximal dose, largest amount of drug that they produce. And number three, a toxic dose produce untoward effects or symptoms. Number four, abusive dose, amount needed to produce the side effects and action desired by the individual who properly use it. Number five, lethal dose. The amount of drug that will cause death. Was defined as a inward conduct of habit. Example, bad drink, alcohol, drug. It's what is drug educational? It is a plan, provision of information, resources, and skills relevant to living in the world. Their psychoactive substances are widely available and common use. Drug trafficking. Drug trafficking is a key part of this research. Example, cocaine, heroin, morphine, cannabis sativa. How does alcohol affects to your body? Alcohol interferes with the brain communication pathway. It can affect the way brain looks. That works. What is prostitution? Sex engage in for commercial reason rather than for its own sake. It is commercial or mercenary sex as work. Type of prostitutional. First is vulgar. Vulgar prostitute with whom on appointment may be made telephone. Second is escort. Some paid for their time. Number three is brutal workers. Brutal workers is a place where people engage in sexual activity with prostitutes. Bar or casino workers in street worker. What is fame? Fame is a man who control prostitutes. What are what is vice and drugs education? Uh, what is vice and drug education? This course deal with the study of drug abuse prevention and control program of the government. Um, what is the important of learn about drugs? It educates them on the danger of substance use, even illicit incidents. What are what are the three what are the three main drugs? The three main drugs. What are the three drugs of the school? What are the three main drugs? The three main the three main drugs the three main drugs in the US are are marijuana, painkillers, and cocaine. It include alcohol and tobacco with high rates consumption as well. Some of these risks include stroke, overdose, and addiction. How can how can we prevent drug use in school? Uh, Allowing students to sign a pledge that they will not use drugs or alcohol, and establishing monitoring programs are always school are using to prevent substance abuse. Um, uh, world World Drugs Sings by Bika Valley of Lebanon. Middle East, biggest producer of cannabis. Spain, known as major transshipment point, paradise of drug user. South Africa, sources of all cocaine supply in the world, coca plants. Mexico, number one producer of marijuana. Philippines, second produce Philippines second production of marijuana. India is known center of world drug map. Indonesia, important transit point, drug en route to Australia. Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand, most uh, favorable sites of drug. China, country where ephedra plant is cultivated source of drug and ephedrine. Hong Kong world is a world transshipment point of all form of heroin. Japan, Japan Japan is major consumer of cocaine and shabu from US of Europe. Importance of study of vice. Study of vice. First, it is important because Its evil effects are more disastrous morally and physically that of other crimes. Second, it is important because vice affects the daily lives of many people. Number three, it is important because its existence causes a serious problem in law enforcement. Number four, it is important become commercialized by disrupts the social make up of the community. What is smoking? Smoking is the act of inhaling and exhaling the foams of burning plant material. Caffeinated coffee is possibly unsafe. Gambling is an activity where someone risks money or belonging. I'm back. I'm back. The quantitative examination. Quantitative examination tells quantitative examination tells how much the quantity of an analyte is present. Qualitative examination. Qualitative drug screen is used to delay the presence of a drug in the body. Herbal drugs, a type of medicine that use root, stem, leaves, flowers, is a modern also known medicine partly drugs. That's all my reporting, sir. That's all. Thank you.